All right.
Greetings, Earthlings.
We are Johnita Francis and Trish Rock, your empowerment influencers.
That's right, the no fluff conversations about life, spirituality, freedom, and everything. Everything.
Everything.
We cover everything. No topic is safe.
Now I'm just going to share this while we're in here. So yeah, welcome, and welcome if you're on the podcast listening.
Yeah, a big
And
shout out to Holistic Bliss Magazine, our sponsors. Thank you very much for your support.
absolutely. And
And
the current theme of the magazine is still wealth and money and finances. So really good articles on the website and in the magazine. So get on it.
get on it. That's what she says. Don't waste time.
Get on it. All right. Let me
Uh,
share this over to my page.
So we are on our last topic. We this has been a journey and a half. I'm so grateful to be on it. As you know, or as you may not know, Trish said a number of weeks ago, "Let's do this." And I'm like, "Okay." And we came up with 10 topics each, and we're down to the 20th one. And it has been. I have looked forward to Wednesday nights like nobody has ever looked forward to Wednesday nights. That's so much fun. And I never know what the hell is going to fly out my mouth or
Yeah.
what little bits of wisdom we're going to share. Or I've learned so much about these conversations. And yeah, it's just been awesome. So obviously, we're doing round two, we're doing a series two. So
Yep.
it's not a bittersweet episode, but I just wanted to thank you because it's been so much fucking fun. I've loved every minute of it. It's really cool.
It is, and we've had a couple of Q&As as well, and so everybody who tunes in is really cool as well, and you guys help make it, so
Yeah, and we've got
that's
a
really good.
Halloween special next week.
We do. We're getting dressed up.
I feel
We
like we
love
need
it
a
dressed up.
piano. Doo, doo, doo. We do. Oh,
Drum
drum
roll.
roll.
We are getting dressed up, and we want you to get dressed up. We're going to be on a different video platform for all of you in our live audience, and you'll be able to. We are going to invite you in on video because we want to see your costume.
We do.
So yes, so it's a bit like everything else on social media, isn't it? You can't just say it. You got to prove it.
Yeah, we
Right.
want to see it. We want to
We
see
want
it
to
for real.
see it. So you tell us that you're dressed up. We're going to drag you in on
Yeah.
video and we're going to see it. So we need some questions. So just let us know either by message or just on the Guided Life podcast page, or if you're listening on the podcast, send us a message through there. And yeah, let us know what questions you want answered next week, whether they're Halloween related or not. We don't care. Ask us anything.
Yeah, even if you want to gloss back over any of the episodes that we've already done and just want to get a little bit of a different understanding, or obviously we've learned so much along the way too, so maybe we'll have a different understanding of some topics as well. So, yeah,
Yeah.
nothing is off the table. Nothing.
That's it. That's it. So it's our last episode of series one next week. So tune in. We're just having a little break after that, and we'll be back in the new year. So we've got Hey Hunter, we've got Thelma, Amanda, Janelle, Selena. Yay!
That's my royal way.
The royal wave. And for all of you on the podcast, listening to the audio through iTunes, Google, Spotify, iHeartRadio, is it Overcast?
Yeah, the only one I remember. I'm just in
Yeah.
awe that you remember them every week. I remember Buzzsprout because they email me all the time.
And Buzzsprout. Yeah, if you're on one of those, yeah, definitely tune in to our live audience, especially next week. I think it'd be fantastic. You can find us at A Guided Life on Facebook. And yeah, we may do things a little bit differently in the next series, but there'll still be an opportunity to watch it.
Absolutely. And there will still be the craziness that you've come to love. The randomness.
the randomness, and we're going to have some pretty good questions. And last week, I don't know if you noticed, Johnita, just at the end of the comments last week, someone said, "Oh, why don't we?" Or actually, no, somebody messaged me on YouTube. I don't know where it's coming from. So she messaged me on YouTube it was Molly. When I popped up the podcast, and she kind of said, "Why don't you let the audience have a couple of questions on the wheel?" So, yeah.
Now, Molly is a dear friend of mine, so she will stitch me up. Thank you, Molly. Cool.
So when we're doing our wheel next year, we may ask for some questions.
Yeah, that's a great idea, actually, because we can add them in like every month or something like that. Or that's really cool. Molly is a big avid advocator for the King James Bible. And when I was introduced to Molly a number of years ago, a friend of mine said she's really churchy, but she's not a weirdo. And I remember the conversation so well. And I'm like, oh, me and churchies, we don't always see eye to eye, because I'm just like, I like you if you're a nice person. If you're a horrible person, I'm not going to like you. And nothing else comes into it. Just your character is where our friendship goes. And I had a literally 2-minute conversation with Molly and went, oh my God, I love this person. I will love her for the rest of my life. And we've been thick as thieves ever since. And some of the stuff that she comes up with the King James Bible and some of the stuff that I've downloaded from Spirit is so in alignment that you cannot honestly question some of this stuff. It is the weirdest, most awesome find the truth, no matter how you come at it. I come at it from a very witchy, spiritual, let's talk to dead people and get what they say on it. She comes from, this is what this says, and this is the creator, and this is, all that style of it. And it is identical. She said it in her American accent. I say it like a bogan. But the truth, it's mind-blowing, absolutely mind-blowing. So we have really cool conversations, and we just learn so much from each other all the time. So
well, I guess we'll be getting one of Molly's questions, so that'll be interesting.
Bet your bottom on it.
So we're up to our last topic. What is it?
Emotional blockage. Dun, dun, dun.
Emotional blockages. Nobody has any of those. No one wants to know about that.
What a silly topic. We've got nothing to talk about. Oh dear. Now you're the queen of heart-centered stuff. And
yes.
I'm not even teasing you saying that. Some of the stuff that you come up with from heart-centered point of view is just mind-blowing. I don't really get most of it because I'm so not heart-centered. That's my Virgo logic, man brain working overtime. But the healing and the understanding and how you work with people through those emotional blockages and through that trauma is immeasurable. It's undeniable. So I don't necessarily understand it, but hey, I don't understand how to cook Chinese food. Doesn't mean I'm going to knock it back and not eat it. Okay, it just means I can't cook it. So this is really right up your top. Like, it's just in your alley, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. And it's interesting because I haven't suffered a lot of trauma in my life, more just emotional traumas actually. So I really just know how to find the underlying belief in people. And it shows up in their words, it shows up in their life, it shows up in their health. And it showed up today for a client in the fact that people are distracting her. And it's like, well, I get distracted too. I know when I'm talking about self-sabotage, I start cleaning the house when I've got some stuff that I need to be doing in my business that I don't feel like doing. So I just clean the house, and then I go out and see the garden needs doing. And then at the end of the day, I've done nothing. But, my emotional block to whatever I'm doing creates my busyness. It creates my distractions. It creates stuff. And it happens for a lot of people. I think emotional blockages really do show up in your health a lot.
Yeah, I see that a lot in people. Yeah, definitely. It's dis-ease, isn't it? Yeah, that's probably and it's unfortunate, but by the time it comes out in disease in the body, it's been hanging around for a very long time, and your higher self has said, hey lady, and all of your spirit team has gone, hey lady, and then you've got little subtle hints along them, and you're like, oblivious to it, or you're ignoring it, or you feel like it's too hard. So by the time it gets to disease, you've literally had probably 2 years of your higher self saying, "Hey, lady." So
Yeah, it's
it's
too late then because the cells have all gone bad, and
yeah,
well, it's not too late, but the job's harder to turn it around.
it certainly is.
And
Certainly
I
is.
think, I've been learning a bit about beliefs and what beliefs are running our reality. And, most of them are before we're even two, some of them before we're even born. And we just have these emotional blocks that we decide are going to keep us safe. And that becomes our underlying belief, which then our whole life just rolls out, proving that belief. And, we think that we're creating these things, and we think that that relationship that broke up created this, but it didn't. It's the very first beliefs that we decide as a baby that this is going to keep me safe if I believe this. So this is what's going to happen. And, it's those beliefs that those emotional blocks that are the hardest to solve, because
Sometimes we don't even understand how they got there.
don't understand how they've got there,
We
and
have no memory recollection of why they're there. We don't understand the narrative behind it. And really, that first 7 years before our memory, biologically and scientifically and medically, our memory doesn't kick into we're around about 7. So, some people obviously are going to be different. I remember stuff earlier than that, but I do it through astral travel. But most people don't remember anything under 7 years of age. So that narrative is already there. So most of the time we don't even realize how that emotional block got there, and we don't even realize what triggered it, or whether it's real or whether it's perceived. So what I mean by that is, if your parent is terrified of drowning, they're going to be terrified of you being in the bath by yourself. Now, you're a little person, you're not even thinking about drowning because it's just a concept you're not aware of, but your parent, through putting that fear into you, all of a sudden you have an irrational or unrealistic fear of drowning or of water, or you don't want to swim, and you've got really no idea where this has come from. But it is an emotional trauma, because everyone needs to get smashed in the surf at one point or another. It's a joy to get.
It is. But the other emotional block that could be set in at that point is, mum doesn't want me to do this because it scares her and I don't want to upset her.
Exactly.
So there's that emotional block that you just decide at the time, your subconscious just decides it. Oh, we don't want to upset mum. Yeah, okay, this is the new rule. And then you just have this fear of water, and you don't know why.
Stick that in our subconscious, and we'll leave it there for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
And we all do it. No one's exempt from this. Absolutely no one's exempt. Yeah.
We all do it. And in that first 7 years, we're in that delta, or whatever that meditation level is, and we're just soaking everything in. But recently I've learned it's really in the first 2 years that you're affected by what your mother does, and then in the between 2 and 4 you're affected with what your father does.
Yeah.
And so that causes that, unacknowledged emotional blocks and the insignificant emotional blocks, which then just grow into all sorts of things that we make up. But I think the biggest ones that I see for people are really physical, sore backs from all that emotional blockage of finances and money, all the other diseases that come up, headaches and migraines and
sore feet, sore knees, sore hips.
Well, even that rascally little cyst I have on my middle toe on my right foot right now is probably an emotional block that's just trying to explode out, right?
Yeah. Wow.
Sometimes you don't even know what it is, but I guess you just have to clear it and forgive it, and whatever it is,
Yeah. It's interesting that you raised about being distracted, because I actually find distraction really a good way for me to work through what the issue is. So if I'm dealing with something, I will purposely go and distract myself. So if I've got a problem at work, and I think, oh my God, why can't I get it to balance? Or why can't I get this to work? Or what's wrong with this? I'll go away deliberately and get a cup of tea. I'm completely distracted. I'll go have a chat with a colleague or whatever, come back to my desk, bingo. I've given myself that space to remove myself from the situation enough. So when I go back to it, I can see it more clearly. So I've isolated the emotion attached to it. So I'm not pressuring myself to come up with the answer right now. I can come back to it later. So for me, distractions work beautifully.
When you're problem solving, yeah, absolutely, because it gets you out. You can't solve the problem from the problem. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But some people distract themselves when they're trying to find time for themselves, but don't feel that they deserve it, and they
Yeah.
create distraction, and then everyone else is to blame except their emotional block of
Yeah.
not feeling deserving of an hour by themselves.
Yeah. 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 I
So
had that something similar come up with the gym because I always work out at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I've done it for years, probably a decade. And when the gyms were closed down, I couldn't go at all. And that's my stress relief. That's my me time. That's the time that I have for myself that nobody annoys me with. And that was going out the window. And it worked perfectly for me to work out that hour of the morning because everybody else in the world was busy or sleeping. So I didn't get all of the calls and all of the ding, ding, dings on my phone and all that sort of stuff that I would normally get later in the morning. So I really struggled, and I got pissed off with the world because my right to be my me time, my right to meditate, because I meditate in the gym. I'm not thinking about anything else. I'm totally in the moment. All of that was taken away from me. And I really struggled on a health level and an emotional level because I didn't have my outlet anymore. And I know that might sound very foreign to a lot of people, but this is my outlet. I don't sit and read a book. I go and lift really heavy weights, and I just tune out completely from everything that's going on. And I give myself that time to just recharge and energize. So I was talking to Trish about it a number of months later, and I said, I'm so freaking frustrated. And Trish was just go a different time. So I'm like, okay, Brainiac, whatever. Where were you months ago when I first started getting frustrated? But then I parked that, and I started going later. But then that's when the world started waking up, and ding, ding, dings would happen, and people were booking readings. And I was like, oh my God, I can never get away from this.
then you found the
So
D&D.
you taught me about the D&D. This woman withholds information deliberately. I think I'm some sort of toy for her, okay? So I'm like, oh, D&D, baby, D&D, D&D. So I D&D the bloody hell out of everything for so long, and it was amazing. But I'm still pissed off that I can't work out at 3 o'clock in the morning because that is the most beautiful time. The earth is so quiet, and it's just, it's like it's just you and nothing else exists, and it's the most beautiful time of the day. So I cannot wait for the gyms to be open 24/7 again, personally. But I understand what you're saying because I was so caught in the issue of how am I going to get around this that I couldn't see the problem, and my distraction, which is the thing I would normally do to solve my problems, was taken away. That was the cause of my problem.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to go on killing spree all the time.
Yeah.
And yeah, can't do that because you get in trouble. And orange is so not my color. So, but it was really, really frustrating for me because I've always used the gym as an opportunity for me to just push everything else aside and just totally be in that moment. I'm not going to go and smell flowers. I'm not going to read a book. That's not my thing. My thing is the gym. So it was really, yeah, very emotionally troubling for me. Very emotionally troubling. So
we've got
yeah.
Jess saying she cleans for distraction. Yeah, cleaning's really good for distraction.
If you
But
need more distractions, I'll give you my address.
But if you're using cleaning for procrastination, it's a different issue. So, you know, and I think it's really just a question of asking yourself, and this is what I say to clients as well, you know, don't blame it's really got nothing to do with the outside world. Why are you feeling the way you're feeling? So, and have you created this to because there's an old fear in your subconscious going, no, we want to save you, let's not go near that fearful scary thing. Let's distract you, or let's create everybody around you to come and distract you so you don't have to face that thing. So it's, you know, it's more about just asking yourself, where's it coming from? And you know, you and I are great believers in asking the body where stuff's coming from too, because that's all emotional blocks. Everything in the body.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where's it coming from?
Yep, the barometers of the soul.
Yeah. Where's it coming from?
Yeah.
And even if you haven't studied any of that or learnt it, certainly go get that book. It's a fantastic book. I've got it, and I've got the chart. It's very exciting. But you know, certainly if you haven't studied any of that, have a look. But just even asking your body and sitting with it, the answer will come if you trust it. It's like reading a tarot card or an oracle card. So, oh, why have I got that? It will come. Just trust
Yep.
it. It'll say something random like,
Yeah,
something to
exactly.
do with money or love or whatever it is. Just trust it, even if you don't believe it. Just trust it because it's true. Oh, that's
Exactly.
when
Your first thought is always your right thought.
and that's when you go to someone like me or Johnita and you can say, oh, you're just confirming everything I thought. I'm like, yeah, this happened. I think I mentioned this last night in my video, actually. It's like so many people, well, not so many, but a percentage of people that will come and I'll read for them and they'll go, oh, I knew all that. You've just confirmed it. And some of them say it in a tone of, well, I knew that. Why am I paying you? And I'm like, well, you didn't tell me before I told you. So I've
Yeah.
actually brought all that information in. If it's just confirming everything you already knew, why aren't you listening to yourself?
Yeah. Why are you doubting what's coming through? Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just a matter of trust, especially with the body. You've just got to really trust it. As far out and as wacky as it may seem, trust it, and then just research and just kind of find the truth in it, because ultimately there'll be some emotional belief or block there, which is just a belief. So
Absolutely. I know that every October, we generally start putting the aircon on or the fans come on, and I freeze. And October's not warm enough for me to have a fan or an aircon on. And every October, I get a cold sore. And I am absolutely convinced that it's this freaking fan that causes my cold sore. It's the only time of the year that I will ever get a cold sore, and it shits me to tears. And I knew for a week before my cold sore was coming this time that it was coming, and I kept getting the nudge to go and get those tablets, go and get those tablets. I'm like, just shut up. I know what I'm doing. No, I should have gone to get the tablets, because at like 4 o'clock on a Saturday morning, I was going to the 24-hour bloody chemist to go get these tablets.
Oh,
But it's not.
Have you looked it up? I'll look it up now for you.
It's little burst of anger and not being able to speak about your anger. And
you're angry at the air conditioning.
oh no, that's what it would have seemed like. But when I've looked back over relationships in the past, I had been cheated on or found out things around my birthday. My birthday's late September, and I had very abusive partners. So I would always keep my anger in for fear of, well, one would bash me, the other one would give me silent treatment, and the other one would start crying and make it all about him. So there was a lot of emotional abuse. So I would keep it all in. And I realized that I had set this pattern up for getting a cold sore every October. So although it was a fan and it might have been pissing me off, I'd actually already done this pattern of I'm going to get a cold sore every October because whenever shit's gone just bad, it happens around my end of my birthday. So now I know what it is. Next October, just after my birthday,
you can undo the pattern.
I'm going to see if I can undo the pattern. Because I'm not consciously thinking about it. And this is the thing, just because you're not consciously thinking about it doesn't mean you've already shifted it, because it's an emotion, it's in your DNA, it's a narrative that you've told yourself. So this year I'm going to say to myself, everything is fine, everything is okay. I don't live in the past anymore. I'm here in the future. I can talk about these things. I can have my opinion and voice my hurt without feeling like I'm going to be victimized or picked on or abused or hit, or all those other things that have happened to me. So it's kind of like a safety mechanism. So it's really quite interesting. So now I've finally worked it out 43 years down the track, dumbass. But it's exactly, that thing, that anger, not being able to speak about what's hurting me or what's upsetting me. And it was my disappointment with them. So yeah. And their behaviours. So I want to break that now because I don't live like that anymore. So it's really quite interesting that it popped up. So, but I think I've lifted it for the last time this year. So we'll see. I'll keep you posted. Now you got to watch next October and see what happens. But how interesting is that?
Yeah, and it all comes back to emotional blocks, everything. So
yeah. Because when you grow up with a lot of trauma, and I grew up with a lot of trauma, you learn how to internalize your emotions and you're not blocking them. The thing with an abusive parent or abusive parents is if you cry, they will give you literally something to cry about. If you show excitement, they will knock that excitement out of you. So it's not that you don't feel those things. It's just that on the inside you're going, oh my God, I'm so excited. But on the outside, it's like Texas Hold'em poker, okay? Because you can't let narcissistic parents see that anything is affecting you, whether it's good or bad, because they will knock the hell out of you. So it's not an emotional blockage, but you aren't allowed to talk openly. Like some kids could talk to their parents about their fears or their dreams or their goals or their aspirations or something funny that happened to school. I never got that. I was never allowed to have that interaction. So I had that interaction with spirit instead of human. So I still managed to process my emotions, but not on a human level. So it's really interesting.
Well, it is, and
the
I mean,
whole emotion
I've
stuff.
well, I've got emotional blocks like that too, but not from being abused, just from emotional trauma of dad leaving and other things that happened. But so mine wasn't from trauma, but I just
But
shut
that
off.
is traumatic.
Yeah, but not the same trauma as you, but it's still what I'm saying is that we can have emotional blocks no matter what our situation was growing up, and we just decide at the time that we're not going to speak. I never shared anything with my mum. I just locked myself in the room most of the time from the age of 12 upwards. And I didn't want to do anything to do with people unless I was with my brother and his older mates out on drugs and getting drunk. So, I didn't have that sharing with my mother either. I would never tell her anything.
Wow.
So, but that that is something that that I have to relearn as well, because I still it may sound on social media that I'm open about everything, but I'm really not.
No.
I'm very blocked. So that's been one of my life challenges, I guess. But yeah, we've all got them, and they come out in different ways. And even the course I did on Sunday, the real hard opening course, even with that, no matter how open you think your heart is, there's still some more shit there. And it affects you. You start coughing and all sorts of stuff. I've had a really sore middle of my back since Saturday before I even did the course. So I know my whatever block it is at the back of my chakra. And it's not to do with my back. It's actually to do with the chakra bit, the back of my heart. And I'm like, oh, something's about to go. So yeah, it's just really interesting. But that's only because I've tuned in. And I think this is what we've been saying before about the body. Anyone else, or not anyone else, but some people, normal people, they'd be straight to the doctor. What's wrong? Oh, go to the physio. Oh, go to the chiro. And you get on this big bloody medical path when it's really just a block that is releasing.
Yeah, exactly. The cockroach needs some oil. They can get moving again.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, we got Kim saying, "I just want to hug you both and squeeze you." Oh, thanks, Kim.
Oh, I'm not a hugger. I'm not a hugger. I've actually gotten better at it because I've got three particular girls that I'm super, well, obviously Molly as well, but she lives in a whole other bloody country. I don't know what Mother Nature was thinking about then, but I've got three girls that are in my absolute world, and they are all huggers. And I have to say, it is the nicest hug ever, because one squishes you for like ever, and you feel like you're never coming up for air, and you don't even care that that's what's taking place. The other one just tucks you in like a mum and just tucks you right in, and I love it. And the third one, well, we don't get to catch up a lot because she lives a little bit further away, but she when she cuddles you, it's like she's got 15 arms and they go all around you. So I've got like the three best cuddlers in the world are all my best friends. So I'm very, very fortunate, but they're the only people that come near me, which is interesting. It's really interesting. But I'm just not like that at all. I don't really understand why I'm like that, to be honest. Affection wasn't something that was given to me growing up, so I'm kind of thinking it along those lines. But I'm also very, very private. I don't like people in my energy either. I work really hard to get my energy where it is, so I don't like other people touching it. So yeah, so it's really interesting. But we don't have people at our house either for the same reason. Don't want my energy messed up. I'm a Spotify weirdo. but that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm allowed to be a weirdo. Yeah.
Yeah, and each year as we grow and evolve, even more and more blocks are released. So, even if you're sitting there listening to this and you're like, yeah, no, I've released all that, I've done the work and whatever else, believe me, there'll be more that comes up. That's our journey. It's our journey to release all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I think at this point in time with the energy right now, and we've spoken a little bit about this before, there hasn't been any other lifetime where we're shifting to a new vibration.
Yeah.
And so, all of the heaviness, all of the old beliefs, not just from us, but everything we carry in that line of generations behind us, it's got to clear. And, the lifetimes we've had, maybe we only needed to clear one or two things and it was easy, or we did it, or we didn't. It didn't really matter. This time it really matters in this lifetime, because you can't ascend to that higher vibration with that shit in your energy. It's just not happening. So because that's the case, every layer that you peel back and every vibration you go up higher, you're actually feeling, you just feel like something's off. You just know. And so there's something else that needs to go, and it could go really easily and quickly, or it could be a stickler.
Yeah. And it's got nothing to do with your own evolution or your spiritual awareness. It's just the depth of the trauma. That is all it is. So, when you standing your deck out the back and you just moved in and you don't like the paint on top, so you start standing it and you realise there's a different colour underneath. The spiritual journey is the same. And sometimes we get to the bare timber in some areas, but there's still built up paint in others. It doesn't mean that we're doing a shit job standing the deck. Doesn't mean that we're not going to ever finish standing the deck. It just means that there's some stuff that we couldn't see before that has surfaced for us. Doesn't mean that our deck is any less beautiful or will be any less beautiful than the person next door. It just means that there's stuff that we didn't see before. And I think that's part of the beauty of the journey, really, because every time I learn something about me, I think, oh yeah. Then I think, God damn it, I missed that part. So I have to go back again and fix it. But so what? We didn't come with a manual. We're just, most of us are just winging it. So just enjoy the journey and relax, and remember it's not a competition, and just, everything will be all right. Yeah.
And just be aware and ask questions, I think, and that's when you'll get to what the actual emotional block is. But as Johnita said, don't focus on the block, just focus on the freedom of it, because you don't really even know where it's come from. You don't have to know where it's come from. We're not sitting at the psycho office for 10 years peeling the damn onion anymore, right? Just ask yourself, what's going on? What am I feeling? Oh, why am I feeling that? Okay, I can let that go now. Exactly. You don't have to know where everything's come from.
No. And if you're really struggling and you just need some extra help, an emotion code practitioner can certainly give you some ideas on ancestral baggage in particular. I attack it a different way. Trish attacks it a different way. I'm not an emotion code practitioner. Way too much study for me. I have the attention span of a gnat. I just call in a dead person. They tell me what to do, and I love that.
It's really good stuff, the emotion code, actually.
It's brilliant. It is it shifted a lot of stuff that because I wasn't aware of some of the trauma that happened to me as a child. It was so traumatic, I had blocked it. And the lady that I worked with was able to identify that. And it wasn't presenting, even though I wasn't aware that it happened because I'd blocked it, there was still a little part of me that was behaving in a manner that I couldn't quite understand. And I even said to her one day, I don't even feel like it's me. That's the weird thing. And she said, no, it's not weird. And this is why this is happening. And I'm like, ka-ching. So emotion code stuff, have a look at it if you've never heard of it. It is absolutely an amazing tool. But do yourself a favor, do your research if you're looking for a practitioner, because some are really shit and some are freaking awesome. And trust me, you want the freaking awesome ones, because
I guess that's the same with all energy work, isn't it?
Absolutely.
But you can get the book, the emotion code book, and read it, and you can learn to do that yourself on yourself.
Muscle testing? You do muscle testing with it? Teach you how to do that?
Oh, yeah. I don't do a lot of muscle testing because I just trust the answer when it comes.
We cheat though. A lot of people
the,
that I've taught about the emotion code need the muscle testing, so they know that
well, you
it's
can do the
accurate.
muscle testing, or you can do the leaning forward or leaning backwards thing, which is in the book.
Okay.
So it's like a pendulum. Be your own pendulum.
Yeah.
But yeah, the book is really good, and you can also get the audio book. So I would recommend the book. It's really good. And the heart resonance therapy that I learned on the weekend is also a really another beautiful way to unblock a lot of those emotions, because fear can't live where that high vibration of love is. And so the heart resonance therapy really sends out beautiful vibrations of love throughout your body, which then kind of pushes out the other. So
Yeah. Well, fear is down, the 22 emotion, or the emotion scale that Abraham Hicks put out. It's got 22 emotions on it. And love and the heart stuff and the positive stuff are right up in the top 7. Boredom is the pivot point, and fear is right down the bottom. So fear can't live where the positive stuff is. It just can't, because it's just too far away. There's too many frequencies in between. So absolutely agree with that 100%.
So that's just a nice kind of subtle way of moving some of it out without even realizing it. Alison has said, oh, Lee's not a hugger either. Alison said, have realized my extreme independence may be a trust issue around people. Independence, high achieving, all the rest of it is absolutely, Alison, and it's got a lot to do with significance. So
yeah, absolutely. I do. Well, I trust a few humans now, but I never trusted humans for a long time, and are fiercely independent, because it's not that they were too stupid to do the job themselves, but so many people would let me down. I never gave anybody an opportunity to let me down, so I became fiercely independent. So it's absolutely agree with that.
Well, that's probably an emotional block there too, right?
Well, yeah, because everybody let me down. Every single person. I could not rely on anybody for anything, so I stopped asking. I just did it myself. Yeah.
Cool. All right, I think that's all. We've got lots of interesting people in the audience. Thank you all for tuning in. So just a reminder that next week is our last one of the series for the year. So please tune in. We'd love to have you. We're going to be putting up a preview post probably Friday or over the weekend or something, and share it around. We'd love a whole big audience to come and check out our amazing costumes, because they will be, and also yours, because we're going to pull you in here on video.
Yes, bully all your friends into coming along.
And say it's totally safe. It's all good. It's all good.
But you must go.
And
I'm in the dark again.
Yeah, and ask us any questions you like. I'm not a big Halloween buff, but ask us anything. It doesn't have to be about Halloween. Johnita knows a lot of that stuff, but
yeah, I just make it up. People believe me. It's all good.
Yeah.
We could tell a spooky story too.
We could. Actually, speaking of which, I guess we could just say it here. We just have a chat anyway, don't we? So it's not always about topic. I was up all night with really crazy, spooky dreams. You know those movies of paranormal, where there's bodies coming out of the cupboard, and just really like scary movie stuff.
Yeah.
I hate that. It scares the shit out of me. And it terrifies me, absolutely terrifies me that someone would just appear, Anyway, I was having all of those dreams last night, and I'm like, where the fuck did this come from?
Wow. Are they trying to desensitize you?
I don't really know. I don't know. I've never had those dreams before, and I had nothing to prompt me. I didn't watch anything scary. And then all of a sudden I'm having these dreams of, that there's someone in my lounge room just standing there like a zombie, or that there's someone down in the end room, with the Halloween costume on, but real, And I was busting to go to Lou at 2:00, and I'm like, no fucking way am I getting up. Right. So my bladder was very uncomfortably full until the sun came up. But yeah, I just got to the point where I was just scared to close my eyes. I don't know what happened. So I saged the whole house today.
Wow. So
But
you
that
just
was weird.
described our life, so I'm used to that. It's actually when I don't see dead people pop up that I think it's like when there's a shark in the water and all the fish disappear and you shit your pants. When I don't have a dead person in our house, it's like, there's something wrong here. And last week we went to sit down and I heard my husband sing out, babe, there's a lady here. And I'm like, is she dead or alive? And she was dead. And she actually showed herself to my husband. So that was really interesting because he feels them. He doesn't necessarily see them. But
Are they scary looking though, like in the scary movies?
Yeah, sometimes they can be. I know I moved into a house all down in Glandore in South Australia, and it was a number 8 house in the street, beautiful big Californian bungalow. And I walked into the front door, everything was fine. I didn't feel really too much energy there, even though it was a 1950s, 60s style house. Come around the corner, went down the 2 steps into the second bedroom, opened the door, and there was a man hanging there. And I'm like, okay, didn't see that coming. I shut the door. I said, I'm really sorry that I disturbed you. Can I open the door again? He said, yes. I opened the door and he was gone. I saw him 4 more times while I lived in that house. And he had the full theatrical, what a hung person looks like. Car victims can sometimes look like that as well. Most of the time they just come through at the happiest time of their life because I'm tuning in for a particular reason. But if they do pop in and they just want my attention, they will come however they want.
Yeah, it was the first time it's
if
happened.
because you feel them, you don't always see them. So I'm wondering if they're trying to desensitize you.
I don't know.
Tell them tonight you need to calm your farms and show me in a manner that's not worrying me. Because I honestly think they're desensitizing you so that you start seeing them because your energy has shifted so much in the last couple of weeks. So it wouldn't surprise me. Would not surprise me.
Yeah.
Wait till you see one when you're trying to have poo. That's the highlight of my day. Oh, didn't see you in there. Are you busy? Yes, I am. Hello, thank you. Go away now.
I don't think I want to. It just wouldn't serve any purpose for me. But yeah, and I just thought it was interesting. Nothing really happened out of the ordinary for that to happen. But yeah, so when I finally did go to sleep with the full uncomfortable bladder, I was like, think happy thoughts, think happy thoughts, think happy thoughts. And I was picturing beautiful green meadows where no zombies would even live. I managed to get to sleep.
Wow. So there's a couple of things you can do there if anyone else is affected by that. You can tell them get out and they will listen to you. You can tell them, I don't appreciate you showing me yourself in this manner. Find another way and they will listen to you. If it gets too much, text me and I will tell them to fucking move along.
But it was in my dreams. It was in my dreams.
But it's good. Are they lucid dreams though? Because they're planted. Yeah. Yeah. So have a see if they do it again. The veil is thinning. It's always thin, people. But the superstition tells us that the 31st of October is the veil has thinned.
Yeah, we've started Halloween early. So, yeah, hit us up with your questions, guys, and let's answer them for next week and show up in something pretty or scary, whatever takes your fancy. And, yeah.
See what happens.
Oh, God. And that's
right on cue. That's the zombie.
And that's kind of my safety net when I'm lying there in bed shitting my pants, right? I'm like, no, if there was somebody here, Rosie would be barking. Yeah. So if she's not barking, I feel safe.
You can go and empty your bladder.
I wasn't going to get up last night. No way. Briley's saying I've had the same lately, and it's definitely a desensitization for her. Interesting.
Yeah.
I can see them, but verbally express my reaction now. Oh, that's interesting, Briley. Okay, well, I knew I had to bring it up for something. Okay, perfect.
Awesome. Love it. I love it when you're not the only person. Yeah. You feel less crazy then. It's like, oh, me too. That's great.
And then before you disappear there into the darkness and all we see is that one little light buzzing.
stick it up my nose so you can find my face.
We'll say goodbye. Thanks everyone for tuning in.
Thank you very much for your time, everyone, and for yours too, Trish. It's always a pleasure being here. In the dark, like
In the
just a little
dark.
head. Yeah. And thank you very much to Holistic Bliss for your sponsorship. And do check out Holistic Bliss magazine. They are in hard copy, so look for a stockist in your local area. And they're also online, and you will catch mine and Trish's articles, plus a whole bunch of other beautiful articles in there as well.
Absolutely. And you can subscribe to our podcast on Google Play, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Overcast, Amazon Music. There's another one I've missed. Buzzsprout. There you go. And several others that we don't even know who they are.
No. Just find your favourite one and look for A Guided Life.
Yeah. And listen. Awesome. Thanks, everyone.
All right, guys. Bye for now. See you next week.
Bye.